Oh my days! Oh my days, ladies and gentlemen. The PR for Graham Potter is strong. It is running wild. Matt Law, specifically Matt Law, is doing his level best to showcase why Graham Potter is still being back. Look, it's not Matt Law's fault. He's getting his information from his inside sources, but yeah, it seems like our owners really want to back Graham Potter, and regardless of what happens, he's going to continue on. He's going to continue on.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
Right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of news to go through, so let's smash through the news, and then I'm going to provide you my opinion. First up, Simon Johnson from The Athletic stating, Chelsea will continue to back Potter. Next 3 games provide an opportunity to improve the relationship with the fans. Yeah, the relationship with the fans is in the mud at the moment. A lot of the match-going fans is, they're fed up. They're fed up. They were chanting Graham Potter out, sacked in the morning. Last game against Southampton at home, and even some of the players were getting thrown into the deep end as well. So look, 3 games to prove your relationship or improve your relationship with the fans, it kind of seems like an ultimatum. But what happens? What happens if you lose all 3 of these games? Because it is quite possible. It is quite possible. Next up is Spurs. I've got no confidence against Spurs away from home. They've got a lot of quality. Yeah, their form hasn't been great, but we can't talk about form. We really can't talk about form. So I don't know. For me, the ultimatum makes it look like you have to win. All 3 have to be wins. So if you don't get the wins, then that's it. But other owners are actually going to do that? I don't think so. I really don't think so, because for me, they're stuck in a situation where financially they've screwed themselves. And now they're going to have to just hope to God, pray to God that it turns around. This is what's happening right now. This is no sense that, I've seen Graham Potter turn things around like this previously at an elite club before, so I've got absolute confidence that he's going to do it again. No, this is purely based on hope now. Absolutely based on hope. The Athletic spoke to a small sample of 10 fans outside Stamford Bridge. None of them wanted Potter in charge anymore. I know it's 10 fans, but nonetheless, outside of Stamford Bridge, it's quite telling. Now, Matt Law, as I said, he's been producing some articles and in favor of Graham Potter and what the owners think, backing him and whatnot. It's interesting. The PR, like it kind of stinks, man. If I'm being absolutely honest, all of this PR actually reeks. Absolutely reeks. I mean, let the man just do what he can do. I still believe he can, if he makes the right choice. Bring back Aubameyang. Do you know what I mean? Bench Mount. Bring back Chukwuemeka and get rid of Conor Gallagher. Have a game plan. Do you know what I mean? If some of your players are not listening to your instructions in game, bin them. He can still change it around, but is he going to do it? He seems like a yes man, and I'm going to showcase this in Matt Law's article, why it seems like a yes man. But let's have a look at what Mr. Matt Law had to say. Senior sources insist there have been a number of instances of Potter becoming upset and having tough conversations. Well, it doesn't look like during the game that he's had any tough conversations, and he's literally just sitting there doing nothing. And in recent times, there's a video that's gone around where he just goes, Kai, and then nothing. It literally just a couple of times, like, I don't think he's really connecting with the players, and I don't think he's passing on any instructions during the match. If he sees something not right, I don't think he's rectifying that. In the players' dressing room and during meetings, Potter is described as being intense at Cobham, and there are no fees over his mentality, okay? Well, majority of the fan base are starting to think otherwise. Because of what he's saying pre-match, post-match, there seems to be some sort of issues with his mentality. And I think the mentality monster needs to be working with Graham Potter. Feeling inside Chelsea, Potter needs at least one preseason. He was brave to take the Chelsea job. Sources noted how top managers don't take jobs mid-season and that Chelsea took a risk. What are you talking about? Mid-season? He literally came in after 1.5 months, perhaps. Do you know what I mean? I think it was about 1.5 months or maybe 1 month. Thomas Tuchel got sacked quite early. what's this mid-season BS that's floating around like he took over when we've played 20 games? He took over, I think literally after 1.5 months. I'm pretty certain. He's had enough time to put an imprint on this team, and it just hasn't happened. He needs a preseason. Okay, fine. Like, more excuses coming out. He needs a preseason. Like, that's gonna make a huge difference. Do you know what I mean? Like, there doesn't seem to be any authority by Graham Potter at the moment. I don't think I feel like there's a lot of players that don't respect him, and I think he probably doesn't respect a lot of the players as well. It's a mess at the moment. I think another manager would probably get a lot more out of this playing unit. This playing unit is not a bad unit. It just needs a manager that can demand authority. And right now, I don't think Graham Potter demands any authority, any level of authority. Further goes on to say, my lord, Chelsea have studied how Schicke Bergestein worked closely with Pep Guardiola. Now we're trying to compare Potter with Pep Guardiola to recruit the right types of players, and then gave the Spaniard time to integrate them to bring out the best. This is mad. Ask Pep Guardiola. You give time to Pep Guardiola because you know he's got the history of winning titles. And we're thinking this is the same thing that's going to happen with Graham Potter because, he's got the history of winning things. It's 2 out of 15, man. Pep Guardiola never had 2 out of 15 at Man City. This is what I mean, man. It's just crazy journalism from Matt Law. Crazy journalism. This isn't from an inside source. This is him giving his opinion. It's sickening. This is what I've said recently, comparing to Klopp, comparing to Pep now. Have some shame. Honestly, have some shame. Now look, few people, this PR article is shambles, is in shambles. Absolutely is in shambles. Further goes on to say, man, Lord Topoli and Baghdad Egbali calculated they could rebuild in 1 year and 3 transfer windows, but there's recognition some of the work done for Tuchel has caused as many problems as it has solutions. So now let's throw Thomas Tuchel under the bus, a particular manager that's been gone for about 6 months. So let's talk about him. And whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Is it Tuchel's fault? You giving Tuchel his players and then sacking him after a month and a bit, is that Tuchel's fault or your fault? No one wanted Thomas Tuchel out at that point. Maybe a small percentage, but majority wanted to keep him on. We also understand if results continued that way for Tuchel, because Tuchel at that time was also having indifferent results, but it wasn't as bad as this. He had a 50% win rate still, and that was looked upon in a bad manner. Right now, in the last 15 games, it's a 13% win rate. And blaming Thomas Tuchel for bringing the players he wanted, well, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. Knowing that you were going to sack him anyway, you shouldn't have done that. Simple as that. It's just comparing with Pep, throwing Thomas Tuchel under the bus. It looks sad. This PR stunt looks really sad. Tuchel's complaints after the Arsenal match in pre-season did not go down well. Of course he's going to complain. Thomas Tuchel repeatedly said, same players will give you same results. He's done enough with that particular group. He won quite a lot. He squeezed out as much as juice as possible from the lot. Help him out. But no, you dilly-dallied around and wasted so much time on players like De Ligt and Rafinha and this, that, the other. And none of them worked out. None of them worked out. They all ended up going to different clubs. And I get it. That particular window was a rookie window. But that's where a lot of the damage happened as well, because you brought in Graham Potter in that particular window too, without consulting with anyone else. Now you've got Vivell, now you've got Paul Winstanley. I highly doubt Vivell and Paul Winstanley or Anthony, what's his name, Lawrence Stewart from Monaco. I doubt these particular people would have opted for Graham Potter. Potter's style suits the approach of the owners far better. Those with knowledge said, current feelings is to fight through this period. Potter's style suits the approach. What style is that? Yes man style. Must be the yes man style. And this is what PYS is saying. Is Potter a yes man? Of course, his yes man style is going to suit you. And if you're talking about footballing style, I don't know what style we've seen at Chelsea Football Club as yet. Everything that we saw in Brighton, we probably saw him implement that maybe once, twice at Chelsea Football Club, and then he sort of disregarded all of that. And I think that's off the back of what the owners have asked. I think owners wanted him to play back four. They don't want him to play back three. Owners having too much say in the game. They might as well be the managers. As much as I appreciate what the owners have done in terms of bringing some really good players in January, owners, they're just as culpable in this situation. They've made some poor mistakes last summer. And now they're financially screwed with Graham Potter. Long-term contract, 12 million a year, 22 million to release him from Brighton. They're screwed. They're screwed. And now all of this PR, this stinky PR is coming out to justify the situation that cannot be justified. Aubameyang being left out of the Champions League squad and not being selected for the last 3 league games was a decision taken in collaboration with the Chelsea board. So now the board is also now helping out who needs to be in the squad and what needs to be the line. I'm starting to think Graham Potter actually has zero authority at Chelsea Football Club. He is literally just a yes man. He just stands there as the manager, the face, and that's it. Everyone else is making decisions for him. Why can't Graham Potter stand up and say, no, I'm keeping Oba. I'm keeping Oba. I need goals. This guy can bang in goals. I'm keeping him. But I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. PYS is saying, whatever you think of Aubameyang, there is no excuse to exclude him for this length of time. Kai Havertz is inconsistent and David Fofana is raw. It seems like a personal agenda now over footballing reasons. I 100% think it's personal agendas. Absolutely. It might not be personal agenda from Graham Potter, but I think it's some form of a symbolism because the owners sacked Tuchel and Oba was a particular player brought in just for Tuchel. So since you've sacked Tuchel, we're going to get rid of Aubameyang as well because, both of them are intertwined. Both of them are linked. You got rid of one, then you got to get rid of the other one. It is agenda. It is 100%. I don't understand why Oba can't be in the squad. I really do not understand because Havertz is stinking up the gaff. Everyone would like to see David Dutcher Fofana, but he's getting hooked off at halftime even when he does well. Potter has been told to put on his tin hat and fight through it. Bowley is due to be at Spurs, whilst Ighbali will watch Leeds and Dortmund. The preferred plan is to allow him to complete this season and then next season before making any further evaluations. Wow. Bowley will firsthand see what goes down at Spurs. I'm glad he's going. I'm actually glad Todd Bowley is going to this particular match at Spurs because the away fans, the Chelsea fans, if the result goes south, watch Mr. Todd Bowley, what you get to witness because you're going to see some incredibly disgruntled fans and I'm glad he's going there. And Ighbali is going to go to Leeds and Dortmund. Leeds is going to be another one. If you think Leeds is going to be walk in the park, even though it should be, they're in the mud. But I'm telling you, nothing's going to be easy for us. Nothing's going to be easy for us. Look, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens next 3 games. Spurs, Leeds, Dortmund. I can honestly picture 3 L's. Honestly. Because I fully believe there is a huge problem internally. As much as they want to spin all of this stuff and give all of this PR, I think a larger number of players have absolutely zero faith, zero belief on Graham Potter. And once you lose the players, it's long. It's game over. It's game over. Whether the preferred plan will be possible of keeping Potter long-term after Spurs match, results continue and calls for Potter to go remains to be seen. Bowley Ighbali are hopeful his critics' opinions can be changed. Well, see, this is the thing. This is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about the hope now. It's all about hope. There's nothing reliant on logic anymore because you can't really say, do you know what? Graham Potter's previously done that at an elite club before where they were in the mud and he's dragged them out of it. There is no history. It is all hope at the moment. It is absolute hope. Say your prayers. Say your prayers, Chelsea owners. Say your prayers. It is noted within the club's hierarchy that Arsenal face vociferous, I don't even know how to pronounce that, vociferous calls to sack Arteta last season, but the Gunners continue to back their manager. See, once again, so we've compared with Pep, we've thrown Thomas Tuchel under the bus, and now look at what Arsenal did with Arteta. Stop Every situation is unique. Stop comparing. Our symptoms are different. Our situation is different. We've spent 600 million. Did Arteta get to spend that level of money? Was Arteta's squad a very good squad when he first took over? At least Potter, as much as those players weren't working out, they're good players. They're good players. That's just, we just needed to get a tune out of them. And now they're supremely good players in the squad. Arteta on the other side, no, he didn't have that. Enough with these comparisons and non-stop excuses. Just let the brother do the job and let's see what he does. Let's not come in social media and try and justify. As I said, you cannot justify this situation at the moment. 2 out of 15? No, you cannot justify. Sources pointed out it's common for the clubs to include termination clause in contracts. They reject the idea that Potter hasn't been sacked because of the money it would cost. Okay, well, hopefully there's some sort of, a loophole that owners have put into the contract. If there is a termination clause, I hope they're able to trigger that if things become even worse. It's 2 out of 15, 2 out of 16, 2 out of 17, 2 out of 18. Surely there has to be a limit. And I hope that there is some sort of termination clause. As I've said, these owners, they're business people. Do you know what I mean? They're smart. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is a termination clause, but they don't want to trigger it because at the moment it's a lose-lose situation. It's a lose-lose situation because they're going to be the biggest laughing stock if they sack him, because they handpicked him 6 months ago, and to sack him after 6 months, they're gonna face the music by all the journalists and all the rivals, and at the same time they're financially screwed as well. So it's a lose-lose situation. But if there has to be a limit, if it's something around 2 out of 18 matches after these 3 games, you're gonna have to change things around, because surely you cannot continue without getting a win. Senior CFC sources, of course, losing at home to Southampton was unacceptable, but this is a painful rebuild and it's bigger than one result or a bad run. Really? Really? One result, a bad run. This isn't a bad run. This is a habit now. There's a cultural shift. It's not about a bad run anymore. This is changing Chelsea's identity to have a loser mentality. That's what's going on. This is not some sort of, one match, just a few bad run of games. No, you're literally changing the landscape. The habit of Chelsea Football Club has become to lose or drop points. Senior Chelsea sources, Graham has shown he's a team player and not just looking out for himself. Well, when you're earning 12 million a year, do you really have to look out for yourself? It's being looked out for yourself automatically. This is what Chelsea FC 365. This is, I think, PYS's website. He does have some connections with some people inside the club and journalists as well. This is what he had to say, and he's done a bit of his research as well. Do follow PYS and follow Chelsea FC 365, ladies and gentlemen, and check out some of the articles from there. Exclusive. Sections of Chelsea's dressing room are disinterested with life under Graham Potter so far, especially during team meetings being held. I'm not one bit surprised. This makes more sense because the results that you see, the lackluster performance that you see, it's clear. It's clear as daylight that there is no unity. There is no unity because when there is a team that's together, fighting for each other, you grind out wins. It may not look pretty, but you grind out wins. Right now, we look disoriented. We look dismantled. We have no personality. We have no characteristic. And those are the symptoms of a team that is dysfunctional, that is not connected together, that probably hates seeing each other, that don't respect or trust one another. So this seems to make complete sense to me. Further, Chelsea FC 365. Well, look at this. Belle Silva, she does some madness. But when Belle Silva likes a tweet of a particular person from Twitter, stating, can you ask Silva to coach? So I think Bel Silva must have commented on something. And then this person said, can you ask Silva to coach our club himself? Because we have a deadbeat tacticless coach who doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't even understand this is Chelsea Football Club. He thinks he's still at Brighton. Bel Silva liked this tweet. Do you think she doesn't talk to her husband about what's happening at Chelsea? Of course it comes up in conversations. And if she wanted to get in on this PR, she wouldn't be liking this stuff. This is detrimental. But this also gives us the view that something is totally wrong. Something is totally wrong. And even more so, have a look at this. Thiago Silva on Instagram. Look at this guy. Is there any reason why Thiago Silva will put up a picture of something like this on his Instagram? He looks disinterested. He looks like he couldn't care less. He looks like he's fed up. That's life. That's the picture of that's life. I mean, I'm glad he signed a contract extension. I love him for it. He's a legend. But I'm pretty sure, and I know a lot of people will say, oh, Thiago Silva recently talked about how Graham Potter is this, that, the other, Reece James. These players are getting forced to say all this. Does this man look like he's interested in what's going on at Chelsea Football Club? He just had a day off. I'm pretty sure he probably didn't even want a day off against Southampton. Because after that match, there was 2 days off anyway. And apparently the reason for giving these players days off is it was recommendations from the doctors because you could risk injuries. You can risk injuries any game, man. Right now, it's time to choose your best players, Graham Potter. They're the ones who are going to get you out of this mess. If you don't pick your best players, if you keep persisting on playing players that do poorly for you, I can't even say you're going to lose your job, because right now it seems like your job is you can't lose it. You can't lose it. Your job is for forever. You're a Chelsea manager forever. Okay, now some contract extension news, ladies and gentlemen. Several contract offers have been made to Mount last summer, and in autumn they were rejected. Talks on hold now until summer, when Chelsea intend to agree new deal. This is in regards to Mason Mount. So for the time being, the talks have halted. They'll revisit this in the summer. Look, I'm fed up with this situation. He can go. There's no way he's going to sign a contract extension unless it's on his terms. He wants more money. Simple as that. He wants money in the levels of Reece James. He ain't going to get that. So we're not going to strike a deal. So let's sell. Let's get the money. If Liverpool's still interested, let's sell to them and let's cash in and let's bring in someone else. I'm fed up. Right now, I feel zero connection with Mason Mount. He's been poor for almost 2 seasons, to be honest. And the last display against Southampton adds to all of the plethora of poor performances that he's been producing for so long. So I could care less if he stays or if he goes. In fact, he can go. Chelsea have set a price tag of 35 million to sell Christian Pulisic. 35 million. Let's do it. He's another player. That injury where it looked like he jarred his leg when taking a shot, he's been out. He's been out for so long. This guy as well. Leave. Please leave. You've spent more time in the medical staff room than actually playing games. So if we can get 35 million, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, look, it's been bad. This last 12 hours or so since the last stream that we did, the PR has been stinking up the place. Look, Graham Potter's going to stick around. But I think the next 3 games, if he continues to drop points and lose, how can the owners continue on? Let's see. I hope he turns it around. I really do. Because me, personally, I want to see some wins. I really want to see some wins. I want to see some light at the end of the tunnel that we can back Graham Potter. Because right now, there's nothing. There's literally nothing. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button if you have. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. We shall be back for a live stream tomorrow morning. Things are heating up, ladies and gentlemen.